I'm a mother. I am raising a child here, and I want this city to be better than it is now, and that I know it can be. And I don't want it to be just better for my family and my neighbors. I want it to be better for everyone. We've already tried what my opponent is talking about. We've already tried this lock 'em up approach, and it didn't work. So we really need to move into the future to have a healthy and equitable, safe community for all of us. My name's Nicole Thomas-Kennedy, and I'm running for Seattle City Attorney.
So excited about all the progressive legislation that the council has been passing, and I very much look forward to defending it. So I don't want to speak too long, but thank you all for being here.
I was a former public defender, and I worked on the other side of the bench from the city attorney's office, and I saw the types of cases that they were filing. A lot of it was prosecuting poverty. I had cases like a block of cheese and a beer stolen from the store, or a sandwich, or someone eating grapes in a 7-Eleven during a mental health crisis. And it just seemed to me to be a supreme waste of money and resources, and also a lost opportunity to really address the root problem.
Finally, someone had the courage to stand up and say, hey, I can offer to lead us out of this situation.
I really didn't anticipate doing this well in the primary, but I really think that there's just been so much education around abolition in Seattle by a lot of activists that came before me. And then also what happened in the streets in 2020, the movement for Black Lives, I think really galvanized a lot of people. I was really angry about the protests. I was legal observing for a lot of them, so I saw a lot of the more egregious things that happened. I had friends that were part of the protests that came away from those protests with bruises the size of dinner plates from foam bullets. The neighborhood that I live in was gassed night after night. And I had to buy a gas mask for my 9-year-old. And so I was not very pleased. These were protests about racist police killings, and the police responded with a brutality that I had not seen for a mass protest before. I do think that this campaign is a way to channel that anger into action. After what I saw as a public defender, plus what I saw in the streets, I realized that these ideas of reform that we've been doing for decades are just simply not working. And so we really do need a new approach. And if we want true public safety, we're gonna have to move away from police and prisons to get it. That makes people nervous, the word abolition. The movement itself stands for building communities that are safe and healthy, that don't need police and prisons for everything.
What you're saying is a lot more persuasive when you say it this way.
If they're coming in and out of jail multiple times, clearly that's not a deterrent anymore. So we need to change course. And providing mental health services, providing on-demand treatment and harm reduction services, those are gonna go, and putting our money into housing, that's gonna go a much longer way, be more effective, and be less expensive than continuously cycling people in and out of jail. And with misdemeanors, the maximum sentence is less than a year. So everybody's getting back out. It's not an adequate system for public safety. I punch up, I don't punch down. Most of my snark is directed at police or at people who are saying things like protesters should be shot with live rounds and things like that. The prevailing tone of Twitter is snark, sarcasm, insults, and that is definitely something I engaged in. I defend the right of every American to be as insulting as they want on Twitter. And at that time, I'm not a career politician. I didn't know I was running, and in hindsight, knowing that I was going to run for this office, maybe those tweets weren't such a good idea. Will I tweet like that going forward? No, I will not. Do I think my opponent will hold the police accountable? No, I don't. So one of the most controversial figures in the Seattle Police Department is SPOG President Mike Solon. She's taken several pictures with him and has them on her social media. I mean, he's the same person that said that BLM and Antifa was to blame for the January 6th riot, which even Carmen Best and Scott Lindsay told him he should resign for those statements, and he didn't. The city doesn't need more deference to the police. The city needs an attorney that can stand up to the police, and I think that I've shown that I can. My opponent thinks the best way to deal with our social problems is to lock more people up for longer. And when she talks about the types of crimes that occur, she really only mentions the facts of a felony. I don't believe that I have ever heard her talk about an actual misdemeanor. But it's not going to work to lock people up longer. There's no services in jail. There's no ability to get help in jail. Everyone that goes to jail is coming out because the sentence is less than a year. I think there's this idea that there's been under prosecution for years. That's simply not true. But I do think that he was trying to move in a direction that was more equitable, using more diversionary programs, using community court, and really trying to get people the help that they need. I don't think he went far enough, so that's what I would like to do, is take those programs further. The city attorney's office has a civil division that's twice as large as the criminal division. The lawyers there are tasked with defending Seattle, defending our statutes, defending Seattle from big corporations that don't like the jumpstart tax. I would like to undertake more affirmative litigation, especially around environmental issues. So the fossil fuel corporations have been knowingly causing damage to our environment and have lined their own pockets, knowing that. And the money that's going to be needed to fund those things needs to come from the fossil fuel companies who cause this damage. Speaking back to power is what I do. The city needs a strong defense attorney, and that's exactly who I am.